and shot him in the chest. Then she went to court against the IRS. Am I the a-hole for telling my girlfriend that I don't like the gift she got me and asking for something else? My girlfriend and I have been together for almost 4 years and live together. She has a stable career and has bought herself a car and was taught to drive in high school. I was never taught to drive, and it's not really necessary because I can Uber, take the bus, or my girlfriend can drive. She's offered before to teach me to drive, but I declined because I'm not really interested in learning because I don't plan on getting a car since they're a lot of money. So, my birthday was yesterday and my girlfriend was really excited to give me my gift. It was private driving lessons, which admittedly cost her several $100s. I was really offended because I don't want to learn to drive. She hyped the gift up like I'd love it, but I honestly hate it. It seems more like it's for her because she wants me to learn to drive, than it is for me. I got really upset and disappointed when I opened it and she kept pushing to ask why I didn't like it. I told her again that I don't care for driving and it seemed like a really impersonal gift, because I don't even want my license or a car, so why would I want this? I felt like she doesn't even know me, and she got really upset, so I suggested she return the lessons and get me something I would like better. Now she's calling me an and said the lessons are non-refundable, and is really upset with me. I don't think I'm the because I've told her before that I don't want to drive and I feel like she's trying to change me. So now she's being immature and won't drive me anywhere and tells me I can Uber if I want to go somewhere, even if it's somewhere she was going to go already. Like she went thrifting into the grocery store without me and said if I really wanted to go that badly, I can Uber. It's not even like I ask her for rides ever. I just tag along if she's already going somewhere. I get Ubers to and from work and have a good job, so it's pointless for me to even get a car or license. When I told her that, she said that she's tired of always being the driver and likes to be the passenger sometimes, but to me it sounds like she gave me a gift that she wants. Because if she hates being the driver so much, I suggested that I could get lessons for her birthday, not mine, and that upset her even more. She said that isn't a gift for her and she'd be upset if I got myself driving lessons for her birthday. I told her basically, see, so you'd be upset if I got you something that you think is for me for your birthday, and she said yes. So even though I explained to her there's a double standard, she's still insisting that I'm the What's the greatest mental health tip you've gotten? Never evaluate your life when you're tired. This is so true. Ever notice things seem much worse at night when worries seem at their worst? The next morning your brain can think of ways to fix them and most times they aren't there the next day. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing it badly. If you can't handle doing it perfectly, finish it, half-ass it at least. If you can't groom yourself due to depression, at least brush your teeth. If you can't beat the fear, just do it scared. Self-care isn't always a bath and a hot chocolate. Sometimes it's giving your head a little shake and doing what needs to be done. Run the dishwasher twice. To put it simply, someone had revealed to their therapist that they felt really crappy about not having the energy to hand wash their dishes. The therapist suggested that they just put their dishes through the dishwasher twice. They point out that you're not really supposed to do that. But the therapist essentially shrugs and goes, who says you can't? You don't need to follow all these little rules. The patient takes their therapist's advice and runs the dishwasher twice. They also shower while lying down and put their folded clothes wherever they fit instead of in neat little sections. In short, you don't need to follow arbitrary rules, just complete tasks in whatever way is easiest for you. You can follow rules when you have the mental energy to do so. Doctors of Reddit, what's the biggest case of faking it you've ever seen? My cousin got glasses. Her 7-year-old little sister also wanted glasses because she thought it was so cool to wear them. So she started telling her teachers she couldn't read what was on the chalkboard, and she'd squint at home, and go incredibly close to the TV to watch things because she said she couldn't see things clearly. Her parents got worried and took her to the doctor. She read everything wrong on the vision test. Everyone seemed convinced that she needed glasses, but the doctor was a little concerned because the tests indicated she needed really thick glasses, and usually that wasn't the case unless there was a family history of vision issues. Her parents both had 20/20 vision and her sister only had astigmatism. They all realized she was faking it, so the doctor told her parents in front of her that she'd need some pretty intense eye surgery so she'd be able to see without glasses. They even wheeled in a machine to make it convincing to say they could do the surgery right then and there. She freaked out, confessed to faking it all and started to cry. She got grounded for a while. People of Reddit who ran into the girl that rejected you in the past. How did it go? Met a guy back in high school in 2010. We talked and kinda liked each other but never admitted it, and apparently he thought I rejected him. Within a month, he moved schools and dated someone else. I dated someone else too. Fast forward 2 years later. Bumped into each other and found out we were both not seeing anyone. Started talking again but never really pursued it. He asked me out but didn't get to go because within 2 weeks, he left to another country for university. Stopped talking after a while due to time difference and eventually lost contact. 1.5 years later, I got in serious relationship with someone else. Another 6 years later, found him on Instagram and for some reason I greeted him on his birthday through DM. He only said thank you and didn't say anything else. 5 months later on my graduation, he'd to congratulate me, so I said thank you and didn't say anything else too. Few days later, he just straight up asked if I wanted to go on a date with me. I soon learned that I was always at the back of his mind for years, and that he was low-key waiting and still hoping. Feelings were mutual, as I too would always had that what ifs all these years. We found our way back to each other after 8 years and finally got married just few months ago after a decade of knowing each other. All those time wondering and never knowing killed us too, which was why he just bluntly asked me out the moment he had the chance. In his words, I wasted 2 chances before, I'm not wasting another. What is a subtle sign that someone is really intelligent? They can switch up the way they talk to match the person they're talking to without sounding condescending. They listen to how others learn and explain it in that person's language of understanding. When they explain something, they make you feel intelligent. They aren't afraid to say they don't know the answer to a question. They can genuinely consider an idea which opposes their worldview without necessarily accepting it. They admit to changing their mind about something. People who use analogies to explain concepts to others. It's a form of code switching, and integrating concepts on the fly is a clear indicator someone is both socially and conceptually intelligent. They don't open up threads like these hoping to find comments that fit how they see themselves. Yeah, I see you looking through these comments. Redditors who grew up filthy rich. What did you think was normal till you learned otherwise? I would say rich in the area. By comparison, I think the moment it really sunk in was during 5th-6th grade, around middle school. I felt like I was getting too cool for little kid parties, so I decided I wanted to go somewhere and do something fun. My parents were super excited about this since it meant I was taking one stupid middle schooler with us on a mini trip instead of having 15 stupid middle schoolers in the house. I decided on a trip to some festival, which meant a ferry ride and then drive to a Canadian city and have a big fancy meal. The girl I picked had been my friend for years. I had no idea her life was so different. She lost her mind on the ferry. It was so fun. She had never seen Canada before, so we stopped and took her picture. My parents, realizing immediately that it was a huge deal for this girl, bought her and I souvenirs, which she later gave to her mom since her mom has never left the area. My mom would not let her order the cheapest thing on the menu, which I never realized is something poor children are trained to do. I thought you could just pick whatever you wanted to eat. She was the first person in her family to travel more than 30 miles from her house. This was pre-9/11, when a family could just take a random child with no ID and a permission slip from their parent into another country. We are both adults now, and occasionally run into each other. She is married with 4 children and still talks about the time we rode a ferry and went to Canada. Had she not brought it up, I probably would have forgotten. What's that one story you've always wanted to tell on r/s credit, but no one has ever asked the right question? I was once robbed at gunpoint in a public bus. Dude was talking to me like he was my friend while pointing the gun at me. He only asked me for the cash I had in my wallet, and after I gave it to him he kept talking to me like we were random commuters having a conversation. Dude got more confident and asked for my phone. I said no, not the phone, man, I need it, and he was like fine, it's okay, don't worry, we chill. 10 out of 10 would be assaulted by him again. A few weeks ago I was visiting Los Angeles. I'm from Spain, but I'm fluent in English. I needed help finding directions to a certain address. I'm in downtown at this point, on foot. I ask a guy in the street if he knows where the address is. He responds with, "No hablo inglés," which is I don't speak English in Spanish. Being from Spain, I understood him, and asked him again in Spanish. Then he says, in crystal clear English, "Dude, I just don't want to talk to anyone. Leave me alone." What is the most disturbing fact you know of? 30% of people reported missing, and found dead, were killed by the person reporting them missing. Half of the homeless people in America were in the foster care system at some point in their lives. Only 20% of the males born in the Soviet Union in 1923 survived World War II. When you're burning to death, your eyes melt out of your head before you die, so you're still alive while your eyes are melting. During the Antarctic exploration, one of the researchers complained about his shoes being soaking wet. When he took them off, he found out the liquid in his shoes was his decaying feet that liquidized and made a forbidden Slurpee out of his feet and blood. Mummies weren't that rare until the Victorian British ate so many of them. Read a story in an old newspaper once, about this girl, 12, who was asking for money to do a surgery. She was the only survivor of a shipwreck and lost a good chunk of her leg in it. That is why she needed the surgery, to be able to keep her leg from being amputated. The crazy thing is the motive for her leg to be amputated. During the rescue, she shouted for the rescuers to be careful pulling her up from the water because a fish had bitten her on the leg. It wasn't a fish, it was another little girl, 6 years old, dead, still attached to her leg by the nails. The way we experience life is not linear, but logarithmic. We've all noticed that a year keeps feeling shorter, but it's because there's a mathematical formula for it. It's called Weber's Law. Life is truly too short. Before we ever notice, it's over. For my fellow habitual neck crackers, studies show there is a 1 in 20,000 to 1 in 250,000 chance that popping your neck can cause a small tear in the inner lining of an artery, which can lead to blood clots forming that can create a blockage in an artery downstream, causing an ischemic stroke, a condition where the blood supply to part of the brain is cut off. My funniest racism experience in China. So I'm a black guy who lived in China for a year. Racism is quite different in China, and to be honest, it literally is in your face and it could even get life-threatening at times. I've had a lot of bad experiences, but this one was one of the ones I actually liked and one I didn't mind. I was riding on the train in Beijing, minding my own business, and all of a sudden, someone shoves an earphone to my ears from behind, and I was surprised and pissed that this happened. And lots of rude people in China, so you're always on the edge. I turned around instantly and it's this teenage girl, and she was hyper and very happy to see me, it seemed. And then she says the most unexpected shit ever. She says, "I like rap music." Wow. I was so shocked but not angry. It was just too surprising and something I wasn't expecting after having earphones shoved on my ears. And I shit you not, the music was not even a black guy. It was fucking Eminem. The whole thing brought a smile to my face because I knew it was just ignorance and not arrogance, and you can't be mad at ignorance. She wanted to take selfies with me, selfie with a black guy. I allowed it. We took selfies and we parted ways.